course, for Blink Stalkers, but we haven't seen, well, we did see a little bit of Stargate play on Merry-Go-Round, but there is a chance we might see some more Stargate play on this map.
Yeah. Well, let's see here if he can finish things up in the top right position. The red Protoss player representing CJ Entis, he is Hero.
And over here on the 9 o'clock position of Catalina, he's playing some great StarCraft so far, but he still needs to do a little better to defeat his opponent. It is MC.
Yeah, MC showing some strong play, and now we're going to see, well, I'd like to call this one a Roddy build.
I love it, Nate. I love it. You know I love me some 11 gate action. Hero actually going for a 13 as well, so that's pretty much the latest gateway you could possibly get. There's a good chance that MC is just going to go a little crazy on this one and maybe brings out some straight up 3 gateway aggression. Starts up with 1 gate, the second one added a little bit later, and while the warp gate technology is halfway done, he's going to add gateway number 3. Of course, he could do many different things with this. It's not destined to be the gateway aggression. It could also just be a very quick Stargate, as that second assimilator is pretty quick as well for this build.
Yeah, I mean, you basically make the trade you cut. Instead of building those early probes that you often want to get for that macro game, you just cut a few to get your gateway a bit faster. That lets you, as you said, get your cybernetics core, which leads into any tech that you want, either warp gate or, as you mentioned, the Stargate. Hero will be ahead a little bit in economy if he doesn't take damage from whatever comes his way out of this opening from MC.
I mean, just look at the cybernetics score. It's a solid, solid 15 seconds ahead. MC adding pylon number 2 now as well, way of course behind the cybernetics core, because that's pretty much how the 11 gate works out. You get the cyber core before your second pylon. Well, normally with most Protoss builds you get the second pylon before you get your cybernetics core. Now MC does have the luxury as well of scouting Hero's main base immediately. Hero adds a second gateway in the face of MC scout. 2 gateway openings, of course, very solid.
I mean, it just gives you that extra little bit of early pre-warp gate production, and a lot of 3-gate builds are centered around when warp gate finishes, so you can kind of offset that 3-gate production by having a few extra units out earlier before that 11 supply gateway play really kicks in.
Now the only thing that would be weird about this, if I was a Hero, is be like, man, that's a lot of energy that you have saved up on that Nexus. What you gonna do with all that energy? And that would normally give me the idea already, like, hey, there's a good chance that my opponent wants to put on some 3-gateway aggression. Immediately, as soon as that probe dies, we see MC using that energy for that warp gate technology. You don't want to do it while your opponent is scouting your main, but you know, the fact that there is so much energy saved up on the Nexus is already a pretty big tell in this matchup.
I'm still waiting to see those extra gateways from MC. Hero will opt for a Stargate now, as the gateways are starting to kick off for MC. So 3-gate versus 2-gate Stargate, and I feel like 2-gate Stargate can be kind of weird. If you defend and get an Oracle into your opponent's base, you know, things can get pretty crazy.
Yep, things are going to be a little bit crazy regardless. This is a great scout by Hero. I can't believe he just found that probe from MC on the right side of the map. That is not nice at all, because the power of 3-gate is that it hits quick and hard, and now he's going to have to send out another probe. And of course MC already doesn't have too many workers normally with a build like this, so that's really going to slow him down quite a bit. Very unfortunate for MC to lose his probe.
Yeah, and it's soon enough he'll have to worry about the potential aggressive play that comes out of the Stargate. If an Oracle gets out on the map before he has to defend, it gets even worse.
I think MC just gave up. He sent out another probe. He was about to drop a pylon in the middle of the map, like the hologram showed up, and then at the last moment when the probe was almost at his destination to build a pylon, he sent this probe back and he's going to expand instead. So even MC is aware that the 3-gate opening, it's great and all, but if you don't do any damage with it at all, you are behind. And this is game 4 of the WCS round of 16. It's a single elimination bracket. Even MC does not want to risk his tournament life on a 3-gate aggression.
Yeah, he doesn't want to put all of his eggs into one basket, and this map is so big, losing that first probe, as you mentioned, so crucial, because you can't get that first warp in as soon as those gateways complete, and that's really the only advantage that the 11 supply opening gives you. So now the Oracle comes in for Hero.
No Photon Overcharge,
MC's
by the
on
way.
the defensive.
There's no Photon Overcharge over here. The Oracle only gets 2 probes, so that could have been a lot worse. The Sentry's helping out those 2 Stalkers there.
He gets a lot of information, though. He sees the Nexus, he's like, well, I can safely expand. I still have tech. MC, without really any tech that he can work with at this point, just kind of has to play passively. The robotics facility gives you access, of course, to the later tech or scouting through observers, but it doesn't really give you any aggressive potential, especially without Blink.
That's just one of the downsides of opening up with an 11 gate into 3 gate aggression. If it never even happens in the first place, the rest of your tech buildings are going to be delayed quite a bit. Once again, MC ends up losing 2 workers, but they're still even in workers, so it's definitely not the end of the world. It's just a little bit of an uncomfortable situation for MC to be in. Well, Hero is just running up his tech right now. He has the Twilight console already, and he's also adding in the robotics facility and a forge.
Yeah, he's getting a nice setup. This Oracle comes in.
Wow.
Oh, getting the sentries is a really nice pickoff.
Yep.
There's the Photon Overcharge, and maybe look at the gas cost between what the Oracle killed and what it costs it. Yeah, it's pretty even. 2 sentries, not bad.
Nope, especially because the sentries are the only option that MC currently has to scout, and scouting is very important in PvP. Even though 9 out of 10 times you will see exactly what you expect your opponent to have and what you know that he could possibly have, because these guys of course are veterans.
Yeah.
They know what is possible in a PvP matchup and not after a certain opening, but it's still so important to have map presence, to have eyes on the map. Losing 2 of these sentries, that really stinks MC, because MC needs his robotics facility right now to pump out Immortals, just in case Hero would have followed it up with a lot of Blink Stalkers.
Yeah.
You know, MC needs something against that, so he doesn't have any observers now. And those sentries were his eyes on the map. Those hallucinations made it possible for him to figure out what Hero was doing.
And it definitely complicates things. The Oracle comes in, just grabs another probe kill, but he can still kind of see what's going on with that scouting information. He hasn't taken any quick gases on his natural, and actually gets to see when that first simulator is built. And I like this little patrol. It's like, I want to see what tries to move out here.
It's a little too close. I think he thought he was on the high ground, but not yet.
And so +1 attack is on the way for Hero. We haven't seen a real commitment to any level of mid-game tech. No robotics bays, no Templar Archives, so there's no option for Archons or Colossi just yet. It's very gateway focused with Immortal support.
Wow. Hero's adding in another Oracle, Nate. I'm a little bit surprised, because normally you only have... And this is really funny, because he's sending a hallucinated Oracle across the map as well. Hero's just going full mind games now. He's
Talk about getting in your head.
Yeah, it's like, it's a fake one, and then the next time you see one, you think like, it's fake, and then you look again, and your entire mineral line is gone. This has happened to me more than once, Nate.
When the hallucinated Phoenix runs past the hallucinated Oracle.
Neither of us does any harm.
Well, he just actually pulls a couple of the Stalkers over, which allows the real one to go in and kill 2 probes.
Yeah,
of course, he'd love to trick him into using a Photon Overcharge, but...
Yeah, that would have been absolutely phenomenal if that would have been the case, but that is not happening for now.
I would have loved to see the hallucination run out in the direction that this next one's coming from.
Yeah,
It's like, the hallucination's back. It's okay, you don't need to attack it.
Indeed. Good news for MC is that he still has Stalkers in both mineral lines, and that he still has a Photon Overcharge available as well. He's still being annoying with that other Oracle in the main base. There are 9 kills on that bad boy. Extremely well done by Hero. Surprisingly enough, though, they're still even in workers. Now this Oracle in the natural is a real one, but very quick response there by MC. Does not get the Oracle, but took a lot of HP of it, and only lost 3 workers.
Yeah, I like this, though. He's been chipping away at the income of MC, and you know what? The advantages that gives you. You force the Chrono Boost to rebuild those probes. You're never really way behind in workers, but you have to spend so many resources just to stay even.
Big gateway explosion in the main base of Hero, adding in 5 additional gateways. He does have a probe on location to go up to 3 bases, but I kind of have the idea that it's a fake, and I think that Hero just wants to go ham on 2 bases for now. He stopped producing probes as well a while ago. He's on 46 workers. MC is still building probes, and of course he lost a lot of probes already as well. It is very difficult though to attack 2 base versus 2 base. Feedback goes down there as well in the end.
So...
Hero is bossing out an MC build, basically.
Yeah, I mean, Hero has...
Okay, there he goes.
With charge and +2 on the way, and the amount of gas he has banked up, he can produce quite a few Archons at once. The 3rd base makes it look like you don't want to attack, but it's still the kind of setup that allows you to put a lot of pressure on.
He could potentially still cancel it as well, because especially with the Warp Prism, this really gives us the idea that Hero wants to be aggressive here. This Phoenix Scout is extremely important for Hero, because he spots the Warp Prism as well. He spots this army marching across the map, and he sees the Warp Prism. The Warp Prism is basically a tell, like, hey, this is pretty serious business. I'm not just messing around here. I am able to reinforce this till the dawn of days. Wow, MC is not impressed so far.
MC taking the 3rd base seems a bit
He
bold.
laughs in the face of danger.
Yeah, this gives you the option to try to just force a cancel and retreat, but I don't actually think he has his Mothership Core with him, right? So he can't recall that army Hero if he went a little bit too far.
Nope. And of course, Hero did go back to pro production now. It took him a long time because he was kind of stuck on 46 workers. And MC, despite the fact that MC has lost 16 workers in this game, he was 8 workers ahead. So that really shows us that Hero did not produce any probes for the longest amount of time. But now in the end, he did decide to go back to pro production and go up to 3 bases.
Yeah. I really like this, just light harass with this Zealot War Prism and just picking off a pylon here, a pylon there, and mostly just forcing Hero to look around everywhere. The Oracle comes in, grabs a handful more kills, really being as annoying as possible with harassing units.
Yep.
Hero's making the most of his ability to control the huge amount of airspace on Catalina.
It's very funny because this is still a relatively even game, but I think if you're playing this game, if you're MC, this doesn't feel like an even game because it kind of just feels like you're chasing your opponent around all the time and you're always just a little too late. You've lost workers here. MC has not been able to be aggressive since the moment he lost that probe early on, pretty much. That was the only time in this game that he was aggressive, and ever since then he's just been defending, and that is not a comfortable feeling at all in this matchup. Even though we have access to all the numbers and we see like, hey, this is actually a relatively even game. This Immortal drop can be pretty devastating. I do like this.
Yeah, just being as annoying as he can. Hero drops Zealots inside of his base at the same time. 2 cannons and some units to defend are nice. He's trying to pick off that War Prism, so these Immortals are locked in for life. Okay. Not really going to get too much more done, but trying to focus down at least the expensive Stalkers.
Yeah, excellent choice there, I think, to recall. It's a big decision to recall, especially when your army is out on the map, but it makes sense. You can get a War Prism and 2 Immortals. Immortals are very pricey units, and of course very powerful in pretty much any phase in PvP, unless it's like Mass Archon Tempest. But any other moment than that, Immortals are pretty damn good in this matchup. So I think that was an okay decision for Hero. The good news for MC is that at least he got Hero off his back, and finally he was the one that was doing something in the main base, but he didn't really kill a whole lot, and he did lose, like I said, 2 of those expensive units.
Yeah, I mean, a couple nice things, like Hero had his 3rd base saturated and fully set up before MC, but as we move towards these mid-late game techs, MC has his robotics bay just now coming in, so the Colossi aren't really a part yet. Hero has Archons and some, some Immortals. Not as heavy on the Archons, but being able to mix those tech up, the Colossi. Once you get, as you said, 2, 3, borderline 4 Colossi, you can start to really shred through those Zealot mineral sinks.
Yep, I think that's pretty much the biggest advantage that Hero has in this game right now. He's just ahead in Colossus, he's slightly ahead in upgrades as well, and he has more money in the bank. Like, if he truly wants, he could even get a 2nd robotics facility, which is a decision that I would encourage. While I say it, it's actually MC is the player who adds the 2nd robotics facility, and now Hero does it as well, so yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I just want to ramp up the Colossi production. And I like this. If you can get the Zealots, if you can distract the army, pull them around a little bit, maybe send a few units into the natural, really just trying to pull them apart. And Hero has shown a lot of multitasking, focused play in dragging out MC's ability to deal with these multiple points of harass. And I like the hallucinated Colossus. He now has a real one.
But Hero now kind of took control of this low ground. It's very difficult to run down this ramp. I'm not sure if MC wants to do that. The only thing is you could say that Hero has a lot of supplies spread around. He has a couple of Zealots on the south of this fight. He has Zealots in the natural as well. It seems like MC did make it down this ramp, but the Colossus number is really in favor of Hero, though.
Yeah, a lot of the Zealots for Hero are caught behind the Archons. Now moving forward, both armies are able to fully spread out. You have 3 Colossi versus just 1, and MC's kind of thinking about where his Warpins are going, back towards his own base to defend against the endless Zealot harass, and somehow there's a pylon in MC's natural.
Day 3, they still think I'm a blue pylon, but it's not, mate. It's definitely red.
Yeah, well, these Zealots surely hitting the right units, and now going into the 3rd base as well. As you said, Roddy, controlling that low ground area really allows him to just pick a base to harass and force the movement of MC's army.
Have to applaud MC though, because it's really not easy to handle all this pressure and not find yourself out of position once. But so far, MC is doing an absolutely phenomenal job in not letting this spiral out of control. He's still on 60 probes. He still has a more than reasonable army. He's still sort of up in Archons, I guess it's very close. He's definitely up in Immortals. If those Immortals can get close to the Colossus, that is MC's key to victory in this fight.
Yeah, these 4 Colossi doing everything they can. One of them was caught a little bit behind. The reinforcing pylon is very close for Hero, though, allowing him to get more hits. And those Immortals focusing down the Colossi, but now 4 versus 4.
Wow,
he still
MC
has an Immortal for support. MC is holding on so far.
MC is playing phenomenal. Very, very impressive so far. Of course, excellent control there by Hero as well, but being under so much pressure and just not crumbling, we applaud Hero for it on Overgrowth, and MC is just returning that skill here on Catalina. Extremely well done. Wow. Yeah. I'm blown away. That was very
MC is fighting like a champion, and I'm really impressed when you consider how much faster that Colossus production started up for Hero. He had everything lined up to just have just a better army and the resource value towards that last fight was dead even. It was a lot about the control. Hero didn't have a time warp. MC made great use of the energy on his mothership core, and now he's the one that wants to get on the aggressive side.
And cancelling that fourth base as well. Of course, Hero still had slightly more money in the bank, so he tried to get away with that, but MC says, nope, not on my watch, not yet. You can only take that fourth base when your army is actually there to defend it. This Observer is very nice for Hero though. It would be great for MC if he could take care of that. Man, MC is truly playing some great PvP here. I did not expect him to put up such a good fight against such an amazing player like Hero. Like, it was obviously not going to be a walk in the park for Hero, but I think a lot of people just said like, Hero, 3-1, maybe even a 3-0. And so far, MC is playing his heart out.
MC is certainly playing ball this series. Hero will go for this fourth, and like the Zealot, man, he's just like, we all kind of move around at the same speed, but you've got charge. Couldn't run forever.
He had a good run though.
Yeah, he had a
Saw
good
what
run.
I did there, Nate?
I see what you did there, Roddy.
That Observer is still just having eyes on MC's entire army. That's really something that he has to take care of.
It's really hard. It's hard to overstate the importance of that Observer, because knowing that you can hold that fourth base is so nice.
Yep, and this will just set a Hero up once more, most likely in a good position for that next big fight. The Colossus count is 8 against 6, so that's still in favor of Hero. Archon count is slightly in favor of MC. Zealot count is in favor of Hero. Hero just has a little bit more of most of the important stuff, but it's hard to get a position on Catalina where all 8 Colossus will shoot at once. That is only possible if MC gives it to Hero.
Yeah, this Observer, so nice. And he has that Warp Prism darting around too. I think there's a High Templar in it, looking for a feedback on the Mothership core. Would be a really nice grab. Drops, doesn't get it.
Now the Observer might get picked off as well, because MC has his own Observer joining up with his army. No, I saw one.
He's going to lose that nice scouting info.
Alright, so this makes MC's life a little bit easier, because he was definitely paranoid, and Hero just had the time of his life watching MC running around.
And so the fourth base is done for Hero. He's got it set up now. Really needs to hold this fourth. MC going for the fight. His whole army stuck on this ramp, and all of Hero's Colossi able to target the Colossi of MC while those gateway units battle. He has the Warp Prism here for Zealot reinforcements at the same time, but MC's supply is holding strong.
Yeah, but all of the Archons are dead now though. One Archon actually coming in from the right side, messing a little bit with the AI, soaking up a full volley there from all Colossus. But now it's an awkward fight again for MC. Running up that ramp is so difficult with these Colossus. A couple of great shots there for Hero, but it's still so close.
Yeah, those Zealots doing a really good job of messing up the Colossi AI and really allowing MC to push forward once again.
Yeah, these Zealots actually go to charge forward, and I think at least 2 more Colossus will die.
Oh, he's going to cut him off.
He's going to try to cut him off. He's going to get all of them.
Where's the Warp Prism evac?
Just send the Immortal.
You can only save one of you.
Just send the Immortal. Yeah, MC shouldn't lose anything anymore. Gets all 4 of these retreating Colossus from Hero.
That's a massive pickup. How do you recover from this?
I don't know, Nate. Dark Shrine.
Well, it's on the production tab. We're gonna see some Dark Templar.
So far, MC has had cannons though. Pretty much every single mineral line.
There's been so much harass. He has cannons at every base.
Yep. Of course, Hero's gonna try to set himself up for a successful Dark Templar harass by picking up these cannons, but actually loses the Warp Prism there to that final shot. That's gonna make his life a lot more difficult.
Yeah, this has been just this game has been just such a slugfest. MC will not go down without a fight. He wants to tie things up, keep his BlizzCon hopes alive of making it to the round of 8 next week. What a game.
Exactly, fighting from behind, theoretically you could say, and definitely fighting an uphill battle at least, is defending against Oracles, defending against Zealot harass, being down in Colossus. It just didn't bother MC too much in the end. He did a great job keeping up his worker production. The only thing I could criticize Hero for is that if he wanted to go up to 3 bases, he should have just continued building probes for a while, because if you kill 18 workers, you should not be down in workers. Dark Templars are going to try to make the difference in this fight, but MC still has an Observer with his army. And this is where MC knows that he has money. He has a couple of Zealots and Archons slicing away at the Colossus from Hero as well.
If those Dark Templar can't get on top of your army, they just die too quickly to be useful. And MC takes a serious lead in supply from all sides, pushing Hero back towards his third base. The Zealots cutting off the Colossi once again. And at this point, yeah, you can retreat, but you're going to lose everything that you leave behind. MC up 100 supply now. He can't be stopped anymore.
A beautiful game by MC.